It's a beautiful day in the city of Lagos and all around the world, of course. I welcome you to another exciting time on Conversations with Jumie. Thank you for always staying tuned and watching as we discuss on everything and anything. So, on today's episode, we're talking conflict in a relationship. Now, how do you resolve conflict in a relationship? Now, when we talk about conflict can be the slightest form of disagreement to the biggest form of disagreement. Now, I'm going to shock you. Now, I've heard stories whereby people actually argue just because a partner is not pressing the toothpaste well. I mean, argue because of that. Like, no, I want you to take the toothpaste from up. The other one will be like, no, it should be from me down. I mean, and they could keep malice for 2 to 3 days, and it can also mean something much of a big deal. So we're talking about how we can resolve conflict in a relationship. What are the red flags for you to know that this will actually cause a big deal by the time you eventually get into the relationship, and how can two partners come to a level playing ground so that everybody doesn't go their separate ways at loggerheads or so. And we're also talking about cohabiting with your spouse. Do you think it's a smart move to live with your spouse before you eventually tied enough? Do you think it is something that would help to understand each other better? So all this and more, we'll be discussing Conversations with Jumie. But when I come back from this breather, I'll be introducing my guest to you. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back to the show. Now, before I went on that breather, I told you that I'm going to be introducing my two amazing guests on the show. And they're here with me right now. I've got Sammy James.
Yeah.
And also I've got D. Sir D of the Big Brother house. Pepe Dem.
Hello. That's how we do it.
Thank you guys for coming to the show. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
So before I went on that breather, I've told my listeners about our topic and resolving conflicts in a relationship. I'm going to start with you.
Why?
Because you are directly in front of me.
Okay.
So tell me, what are the things that causes conflict first of all in a relationship?
The fact that we're human. I think conflict is unavoidable when you have two people in a room. Sometimes you fight with your own self, so why not with others? I think conflict in relationships comes from difference of opinions, I would say. But that's allowed and that's expected. That should be anticipated, in fact. You should want it, because if there's no conflict in a relationship, you don't necessarily like each other. So I think difference in opinions, difference in upbringing, difference in ideologies, all this will come together to be reasons as to why a couple would fight.
Okay, so tell me, do you think it makes a relationship stronger?
Yes, conflict makes a relationship stronger.
How? What way?
And another way it breaks relationship. In the sense that if both of you don't have a very good understanding of each other, there will be conflict that leads to separation. But when you understand each other, there will be conflicts that make you even stronger. Because I always tell my partner, say that I love you, not because I love you more than, sometimes you just tell but I love you, the other person say I love you more. It's not a competition. It is you loving the person more than the obstacles, more than future problems that will come along. Yeah.
Okay, now let's go personal right now. Yes, I know that you're in a very serious relationship.
Did you ask me?
I do. It's all about I do. So tell us examples of how you've resolved a conflict in your relationship.
Okay. So I'm going to be blunt. Myself and my girlfriend currently, I've been together for 3 years now. So at the beginning of the relationship, we were very different people in some ways. I'm the kind of person that when there's an issue, if we haven't spoken about it, we can't get past it. I hold grudges. I'm sorry. That's why I like to talk about stuff. I hold grudges, and like she is the kind of person that if there's an issue, just give her an hour, she'll be over it. Come on, look, you're over it on your own. I still have to talk about it.
Okay.
And so she had to learn, because if she's over it and I'm not, there's still a problem.
Yeah.
So she had to learn to give me that space. Like, let's talk about it. Sometimes you'll be like, can't you just forget it? Let's move on. But it's still haunting me, so we can't move on. So talking about it is very important. And I have learned to let some things go. You mustn't talk about everything. So compromise in general is very important.
Okay, now when you're trying to resolve a conflict in a relationship, do you think, when is conflict too much? Is there anything as such as, it is getting too much?
Yes, I think so.
Of course.
Examples are when, like you said, we've talked about it.
Okay.
Then something else comes up, and you now bring that same thing we've talked about, like just like what you did. After we talked about it, then the old nagging thing.
Oh, God.
But what do you think causes such? What do you think causes such? Okay, referring back to the past.
You did not have a resolve. You did not come to a conclusive understanding of why you fought. And this is why I say I like to talk about it, because even my babe knows if we've spoken for 1 hour, if it hasn't hit me, it hasn't hit me. Yes, nothing you can do about it. We still have to talk.
What do you wait now? Talking.
Conflict comes from misunderstanding.
Okay.
So resolve comes from understanding.
Yes.
And if you've understood, you can relate. And once that is there, once understanding is there, then we've trusted.
Just like you can be talking and not passing messages.
Okay.
You can be talking and the talking will just be argument upon argument upon argument. She wants to be right, I want to be right. Nobody wants to be wrong. And at the end of the day, you are not coming up to a compromise. You are only making the argument you are opening it more,
Escalate. I think people who refer back to, by people I mean all of us, once in a while we refer back to past experiences. It just goes a long way to say that it might have really hurt. And that's why it's still, because the idea that the statement forgive and forget is dumb in my opinion. Nobody forgets. That's not how we are.
But the Bible says we should forget. I keep asking myself, how is that possible?
The forget is not to forget the experience, it's to forget the hurt.
Okay.
Because if you're still holding on to the hurt, then you've not moved on, and it doesn't affect that person, it affects you. So you can't forget the experience. It will always be there. It's a lesson.
Yeah.
That's why we study history. So the experience will always be there. Now when you have not forgotten the hurt, you are holding on to the pain you felt, that's where there's a problem. And then sometimes we refer back to these things as you have repeated yourself. Sometimes it's okay, but when it's a constant, then it just means you are bitter.
Yeah.
And that's not. Then we should move on.
Okay, so talking about moving on, I'm going to talk about Tonto DK and her ex-husband.
No.
Now it keeps reoccurring.
Say, oh, Lord.
It keeps reoccurring. Now, what's your take on letting it go? Now, I know that they're no longer together, but what if, talking about people that are still together, how is it easy for you to let go of a conflict, of a hurt?
When you love somebody, like you truly love somebody, it's very easy to let go. I mean, love just takes over. It's just like you fighting with your brother or your mom. No matter how your mom hits you, you just feel like she's doing it out of love. Sometimes when people hurt each other and you forgive the person, you learn to move on, in the sense that
how easy is that? Okay, now I hear phrases like, because I love you, I'm going to let you go. Is it possible? I'm trying to deviate now. Sorry.
Okay.
Is it possible for you to love somebody and still let the person go? I'm talking about maybe in a relationship now. Okay, because I love you so much, I know that this cannot work. I have to let you go. How easy is that? Or I just feel that maybe just try to fight for that relationship. Is it easy for you to just let go? Let me come to you, Daddy.
Letting go is one of the hardest things, especially when you truly love someone. But I love you enough to know that we can't work. It's a big enough reason to let go. I love you enough to know that I'm hurting you instead of making you feel happy. Love is, I think we have bought into the movie idea of love so much so that we are failing to be realistic about the idea of love.
Do you blame us? We grew up watching.
Let's desensitize ourselves. Love is very, it's as complicated as it isn't complicated. It's complicated, but it isn't. Sometimes it's this simple. It's like it's A and B. You love somebody so much. We are in a relationship. We truly adore each other and we love each other. But half the time you are crying. It's not. It's an unhealthy kind of love, and it exists. You should be strong enough to say, okay, I love you beyond anything, but I love you too much to constantly be the reason for your pain, and then you can say I have to let you go. and that takes it takes a while for you to get over it, because in all honesty you're still in love with that person. So you can, there's, as we know, there's a difference from being in love and just loving a person.
Okay.
I can love you and I can be in love with you. So that would, in that situation, you probably will never stop loving that person, because you truly genuinely love the person, but you would not just be in love with that person.
I'd like to explain
So move on.
that phrase of I can love you and be. I don't really understand that explanation. I
Okay.
can love you and I can be
with you.
in love.
Being in love with you is where the romance comes in. It's when
Okay.
it's where it's being in love with you is more. It's a deeper level of emotions.
Okay.
I love my friends. I have female friends, and I truly from my heart love them. But I'm not in love with them. I'm in
Oh, I
love with
see.
my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I
A reassurance.
think that there's another part where you're saying, I love you enough to let you go.
Okay.
It's even more complicated, especially when you want to let that person go, but the other person is never ready to let you go.
Yeah, it always usually is the case.
Do you understand? That's how complicated love is. But I just feel like, yeah, if you want to grow in love, or you want the other person's happiness, it's easier to just let go if both of you are not compatible. Compatibility is always very important in relationship.
What are the factors for compatibility?
It's you knowing my do's and don'ts. Is you being able to understand why I do some certain things and why I don't do certain things. For example, I want to use myself as an example. I am this very stylish person. I would like to marry my girlfriend, get drunk together, instead of, but what if my girlfriend is I don't like drinking? Would I have to now force her to now be that kind of woman that I want?
But if she loves you, she can actually be that kind of man.
She can, but
That's
it's
not
not
the
my
point.
fault. That's when
not-
she
I think
wants
that's not the point of love.
Oh, okay.
I think love is
freedom.
true acceptance of the other person. There's no compatibility is now overstressed. In my opinion, I think I like to deviate from the norm in general. I think the idea of finding compatible partners is lost on everyone, because nobody wants to date their best friends. Everybody just, you're my guy,
Yeah.
but I'm looking for someone else. Why is
Yeah.
that? Because that, if we're all looking for compatibility, then you'll be in love with your girl, your best friend, that person you are, because that's why you're friends. Relationships, emotional and romantic relationships are not that. I think it's accepting the person's flaws regardless.
Okay.
I do not love you because I love you despite. You like to fart in public. I don't like that, but I love you despite that fact.
And you think in the long run it doesn't get annoying?
That's the only reason why you truly would be in the long run.
Oh.
If you have not accepted the despites,
Then
you're only in love
with
with the reasons why you should. I only love you for the good reasons. I have not accepted the faults. Eventually, the good reasons will become
trash.
old. They become cold, and then you will now only see the negatives, and you have not accepted to love those negatives. So that's where the problem lies.
Wow, it's actually very, very deep. Okay, now, your own understanding, what do you think causes a lot of divorces and breakup among spouses? You don't have to talk about that, because I feel it still boils down to what we're talking about. I mean, you once loved each other, so what happened? What happened that you guys became enemies?
I think number one is money. Oh.
Money?
Yes. In all relationship, if money is not there, it will first break down. Because I've seen a lot of relationships, a lot of marriages that have gone separate way because that money is not flowing anymore. Sometimes you just go into relationship. It's just like, for example, you met this guy. I mean, he does a good job. You have a good job, and in the long run, both of you are staying together. You got married. He lost his job. He's not able to. Definitely, when the guy lost his job, it's very easy for the guy to get into depression. It's very easy for him to start misbehaving at home. If he now has a very understanding wife that can say, come on now, we can still manage on my own income until you're able to stand on your own and you get a job. That is the only time that, okay, this relationship can still grow to that extent. And sometimes you see family pressure as well as peer pressure on family. You know, the lady has friend that has a husband that is doing very well. She comes, you know, they would say stories in their own gathering. That story sticks into her brain. She comes on and meets the very no job guy. He's sitting at home, maybe he's even watching soccer. So you are watching soccer when your mates are start making
Do you agree with that?
I'm private. I think what he is trying to say, and what I understand or what I believe, is one of the biggest reasons is contentment. There's always someone richer. There's always someone more beautiful. There's always someone more handsome. It's not complicated. It really, we like to pretend and tell ourselves lies. In my opinion, like you come to you are lying, hoha, you are the most beautiful girl in the world. It's a lie. First off, you have not seen the world. You are the most beautiful girl in my eyes. I have accepted that you are the most beautiful. Now you get married. Because there's always this joy before marriage. There's always the idea of freedom. People do not necessarily feel entrapped until they have this ring on their finger. But we should stop seeing the ring as that. It feels like a lot of people. You hear people say when they get married, he's off the market, or like they don't cage her. Why is it a cage?
Well, maybe because there's a certain behavioral pattern we expect from that person.
That's the
which we
problem.
don't want to see when the person is married.
I honestly do not hope that my girlfriend thinks that there are certain things that will change.
Of course, I feel there's certain things that should
like
change.
what? I think you should accept me as I am, so that you know, because so that you don't get disappointed. Like, there's nothing I want to change about my girlfriend right now, but if say I want to get married to her, it's this person I am meeting right now that I want to be married to. I'm not marrying her to hope for a different person. That's where disappointment comes in.
Okay.
When I say I want to marry you, when I say I want to spend the rest of my life with you, I mean the you that I'm seeing now, not the you I'm thinking of, that I'm thinking you will be in some years time. And then you do not become that you, and I feel disappointed. No, accept the person for who the person is right now. And you can both grow together, and growth is a beautiful thing, but do not put that pressure on the person to grow. And it happens a whole lot. Like, no, when we are married, this will change. Did you have a conversation about that? Don't come and think that I will stop wanting to play games with my boys because we are married. It's not going to change.
But okay, they're talking about late night. I mean, there's sometimes that you keep late night because you feel that you're single now. But when you're married, some things should just change about that.
I do not keep late night.
What? I'm not saying late nights. Late nights are bad. You're making it sound like it's bad.
No, I'm not even saying. I'm just saying, like, my late nights are regulated, and half the time I'll be with her. Your spouse should be your friend.
Yeah, true.
Then you should be able to hang out with them. My girlfriend is learning how to play games. I'm a game kind of person, you see, and this is where relationship is. That's where growth comes in.
Yeah.
She's now learning to learn the things I like, and I'm learning. She likes to watch cooking shows. She likes to watch bizarre shows on. I didn't used to like them, but I find myself watching them even without her now. Because that's how much I am invested in her.
Okay.
The things that matter to her are beginning to matter to me, and so we can now share the defined going out to chill together.
Oh.
Why am I chilling outside my relationship? So my relationship is a problem. I have to chill outside and come back and chill.
No.
That's a problem.
Okay, now let's conclude on this. So, how best do you discuss conflict resolution in a relationship? How do you go about it?
Okay. My mom used to do one very good style that I've actually taken up to do myself. When we have problem at home, she does wait till maybe I've slept off midnight.
I don't like that style.
Just tap you. You know when she took time to wait till midnight to tell me, so sad. You see, this old style that most of us don't imbibe in, they work perfectly. The wise are called wise not because of say they are older, because they have a particular way of doing things that we don't do. When she calls you at that kind of time, you know, even if you are sleepy, when you wake up, there's this bedroom tone voice that she used to talking to you. Everything will enter and it will stay. It won't enter yet.
Wait, when it enters, I hope by the next morning, not be like, did I actually agree to what this man just said? Was that my right senses?
Because actually, you are calm and then definitely both
understanding.
of you have a conversation. Okay, this is why I did this. Okay, this is why I did this. Okay, I am sorry. Okay, good night. When you wake up the next morning, you really have to first wake up and go and meet her. Where she's like, morning, how are you? Do you understand? It just bring peace back into the house. There are a lot of levels of, and again, I think I see imbibe the idea of buying gifts. Just say I'm sorry.
I like that.
Yeah, do you understand?
Do you do that? You say like
That's offend a lot. I'm a simple guy.
okay. So how do you resolve conflicts in your relationship?
I think there's no exact science to it. I think
Okay.
it works differently for different people. Personally, I learned this from my mom. imagine that. But I learned that you do not sleep on it. Sleeping on any grievance is incredibly dangerous. Now today I might step on you and did not realize I stepped on you, but this guy stepped on me, so you're upset today. Tomorrow, look at him, very annoying guy. In a month's time, you don't remember exactly what he did, but your hate level for me would be triple, and it stems from just I stepped on your foot. In the next 1 year, you might give birth to a child and that child you'll be telling him, I don't like that man, and their family. 10 years from now, you have a family dispute over somebody stepping on your foot. So as fast as possible, you should resolve it. But personally, I do not resolve issues when it is too hot. If we are both shouting, we are not communicating.
I just feel that thing is just said and done.
Oh, trust me, a lot of Nigerians hate. A lot of people don't like me for that. They said I was too calm. I'm too. In my opinion, it's understanding that brings resolve.
Yeah.
And if we are both raising our voices, we are not going to understand each other. We're just trying to prove ourselves. So I would not indulge in that. I will walk away from you. There's a calmer time to have that conversation, and it is not now apparently. Because even I get riled up. The more you shout, I will shout back.
Yes,
and when you start shouting, you're not even trying to pass a message. You're just trying to be louder than the next person. So personally, I have learnt it. It's not easy, trust me. But I have learnt to walk away and live to fight another day. Hopefully that same day, so that it doesn't escalate in my head.
In particular, incident like this happened when my girlfriend was serving in Sapele. We had argument over, I think I was hungry, she didn't cook, and I was very hungry, and I know how to cook, but I always want somebody to be in the kitchen with me. So instead of me just doing the cooking, I just want to, and she didn't come and she didn't do the cooking. Okay, I was trying to explain to her that why didn't you, and that's, in fact, at the time, I started blaming myself that, okay, she used to cook for you now, normal. So why is today now a different one that you're not taking it up? I was angry and I was trying to, and most of the time, I don't like when myself and my girlfriend are having an argument. Somebody else should hear outside. Like if you're going to have an argument, no shouting. I don't want any other person to hear it.
But
I was trying to tell her that this and she was shouting and she has a very loud voice.
I want to
I said,
know.
why are you shouting? I said, you're going to hear. And when she rented, it's a 3-bedroom flat. Other couples are staying in the other 2 and she's renting one. So your mates are going to hear that we're arguing. She what she doesn't care. I just walked out and there's a bar down their street. And
Drinks.
give me Heineken. I sat down there.
She's ready where she is. Then
he bust a brain. She came there as well to meet me there. She said, can she drink out of my Heineken? I said, drink now. I said, that's where we finished our fight.
Aww.
So that's most times when you have arguments with your spouse, just leave them there. Miraculously or very well, if they are in good terms too and they really love you, you just start thinking about it. Okay, why am I even shouting myself? Okay, let me go and say I'm sorry. Do you understand?
Alright, okay, now let us complete this segment and we'll come back and talk about cohabiting with your spouse.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back to the show. I hope you've been having a great time. You've been enjoying our conversation and and everything. So we are back and we're talking about cohabiting with your spouse. What's your take on that? Let me start with you. I mean, living with your spouse.
Okay. I don't say anything wrong with it anyway. I mean, it just helps you guys to know each other better. It helps you to know the person in depth. There's a kind of, things that happen in your absence if you are not living with the person.
Okay.
How the person reacts to some kind of things. If you're not living with the person, for example, you go out with this person and the waiter does some kind of funny things, the way the person reacts to the waiter, sometimes you might not know if you don't live with the person.
Okay.
Do you understand? So I just feel when both of you live together, you get to know the person better.
I think most guys who agree with living with each other, but this is a men team. I'm going to still bring ladies talk about this. But what's your take on living with your spouse?
Your spouse being your girlfriend or boyfriend, because spouse is husband actually or wife.
Jesus.
So your partner, right?
Yes.
Your partner.
Yeah.
I would say it is again not an exact science. People are different.
Okay.
But my own personal opinion is I don't find it necessary. living together for a
Yeah,
long period
yeah.
of time is not necessary for me personally. I think you can have visits, you can spend a weekend, you can spend a week, you can spend 2 weeks, but eventually please go home. And this is, I understand what you're saying is very true. You need to understand, you need to learn people, you need to learn about people in different spaces, and people get relaxed when you live to, you know, when you're in your house now, you let your hair down, you calm down, and you need to see those things. But it doesn't, in all honesty, in this our day and time, let me tell you, there are ladies or there are guys that would keep their head up for the next 10 years, showing you the things they think you want to see.
I'm so happy this coming from a guy.
Until you get married, they will shock you. So there's really no saying that you now know the person because you have been living with the
You
person.
say 10 years. How do you guys do this thing? Pretend for that long?
Wait, what?
No,
It
I
is
think
guys that
it
pretend.
is-
I think it's mostly ladies, in my opinion.
Well, I feel
Even
if a lady loves you, she comes out real.
Mm.
Yes. Oh no, it's not. It's not. She's vulnerable. She shows you whatever you want to see. But a guy can. Okay, for example, even as little as a guy that smokes. Some ladies will be like, they didn't know that their guy usually smoke until when they got married to them. Why was guy able to keep that?
She wasn't paying attention. No. Smoking
Really?
is something like smoking. How would you not know?
I'm talking about this guy is a very smart person.
Yes,
she's not
Well,
that
maybe
smart.
she's not really that smart. But do you agree that guys pretend a lot? If a guy wants to conceal things, you said it yourself now. If a guy wants to hide things from you, he knows how to go about it.
I think it's a
both
both
genders know, we know how to
both
hide.
gender.
But if you want to, because
Ratio.
I honestly would say girls pretend more. You would honestly say guys pretend more. We all have
Girls
different-
pretend more, but when a girl is in love with you, she
still
brings
pretend
it.
though.
No, I don't think
It
so.
is when she loves you that she doesn't
Pretend
show
more.
you.
Where do you get a
some
theory
other
from? Where do you get a theory
Pretend more
from?
so. Okay, let me give you this example. A friend of mine, my best friend, a lot of you know him, Marv. Well, I think we're in 211 in school, and then I can't remember where we're walking to, and we were having a conversation, and we talked about farting, and ladies farting, and he looked shocked. And guy, what's up? He said he has never ever thought of the fact that ladies fart.
What?
His girlfriend has never.
How many ladies fart in front of their girlfriend, with their boyfriends?
What do you mean?
No, it's just a simple thing, and it sounds silly, doesn't it? Right? But it's something you do.
Yes, but I don't think I don't think that's a relationship. I mean, if you're supposed to be best friends and all.
I'm asking. Are you in a relationship?
I'm actually married.
You're married.
Yes.
Do you fart in front of you?
Yes, even before we got married.
You used to think, like, okay, now
We do silly things.
exactly, but okay, my girlfriend hardly ever does. She's learning to, because look at you, me. I feel the inspiration. I drop it now.
Damn,
You know, there are ways to go about this. Like before you do that, maybe just create like a 5 minutes scenario that will not make that look awkward.
What will you do to not make a fart?
I will not give you alerts now. They don't come out.
I won't fart in front of guests. But me and you are in the room. We are this thing.
It's a competition, though.
I'm a drop it. I'm a drop it. Well, she's more, she's refined. She's clean. She doesn't. But then she was on Twitter the other day and she read something that said, if you've not farted in front of your man, you don't really love him. I was like, yeah. I say, you see? Living together, let's go back to the real question. Living together is, if you think you need it, then sure you should hit it. But it's not a guarantee for anything. It doesn't mean your relationship will last, and it doesn't mean it won't. It's just it's not an exact science.
Doesn't mean to make it stronger, for you to understand each other better.
It might. Sometimes it's the make it or break it point where you realize, I can't be married to this guy. Because there are some things. There are some people that sleep very awkwardly, and the littlest of things can be the
Exactly
defining
what I said when I
factor.
was introducing my show. It could even be as something as how to handle the toothpaste.
Yeah,
the other time that
yeah,
was saying
we had that same
that
conversation.
people actually quarrel because of that.
Toothpaste,
Yes,
bed
no,
space.
people do.
Let me sleep by the wall. Let me sleep by the edge of the wall.
People do. Oh, I have a personal place where I want to sleep. I
Yeah.
prefer to sleep on the left. It's a mental thing. I do not even know why, but I just want to be there. So depending on the room, I want to be near the door. I feel like it always makes me feel like I'm just being protective in my mind. I want to be near the door or something. So there are certain things, the toothpaste thing, the way you handle toothbrush. Okay, personally, I can share almost anything, but you can't even touch my toothbrush. It's my thing. You can't. I can't see your hand on my toothbrush. That thing is not entering my mouth again. That's all. It's not about washing it. I can't use it no more. And I know couples that can share toothbrush. That's deep for me, man. Like, no, let's not have this conversation. You get? So I think learning these things, this characteristics is important. But if you truly love the person, you find a way around it. So it doesn't matter if you live together now or live together when you're married. You will, if you are always going to find a way around it, you will find a way around it now or in the future.
Okay.
But you need to sometimes know what you're getting into.
Okay. All right. So let me talk from a girl's perspective. I don't think a lot of ladies want to be living with their boyfriend before getting married, because it's
Really?
like you're already tasting the cookie even before
And
before
the
But
cookie,
a
cookie,
lot of the time they are the one that wants to even move in,
The cookie.
so that other ladies will not come
Bros,
to
you
their
get
house.
in their mind they're setting up camp.
maybe I'm talking from
They will drop their.
I think you're talking from a very very
This is how they start. When they come around, they will leave like 2 spare pants.
Oh god, I need this story. When I was 7, I was living with one of my closest friends.
Yeah.
And he had this girlfriend at the time. And he didn't realize when she moved in. But I did, I'm the guy looking in. I'm the guy outside looking in. So it was bit by bit until there was a point like what she was 7 and I was 7, but he was working. And for like a month she had been in the house. And I'm like, so dude, you are now living with your girlfriend, right? I just said it casually. He said, what's that? What's that? No, we don't live together. And I'm like, wait, calm down now, guy. Okay, let's go. And I went to the wardrobe, I showed him. So this is a very nice gown that you wear. I mean, it's your own. But so there was half the wardrobe was already hers. More than half. She had every single thing you needed to live. And then he was like, oh my god. And he realized. And just that day, he got really depressed. And when she came back from the office, like, you have to go home. And she's like, what? I felt so bad. He was like, what happened? Nothing, you just have to go home. This dude went outside and sat by the cover, just like this.
like
He did not realize. And I think personally that's what a lot of ladies do. You move in
They don't move in.
without him being invited. Sometimes it's okay. Me personally, I don't have a problem. But a lot of people, you just move in quietly. You leave the first shirt up. You leave the slippers. You leave your earring. Don't worry, I'll get it next time. Next thing you realize you have a box of jewelry. Guys don't do that.
Nah,
okay, I see. Okay, well, I'm just talking. Maybe I'm just speaking in mind of a particular set of ladies. Because for most ladies, I always care of the fact that will they eventually get married to me.
Because
I don't want to look faded before we eventually get married. That is another perspective that most ladies are looking.
Those are ladies who are not involved sexually with the man right now. Because if you're already involved sexually, whether you're living with him or not.
Well, is it actually even right for you to involve sexually? We don't want to really go
Delve
there, right?
into that topic.
Alright, let us close off this segment. And when we come back, it will be time for our game. Stay tuned. Hello guys and welcome back. So we're supposed to go on our games, but a quick question just popped up which they are actually comfortable answering. So from cohabiting with your spouse, you said something like, okay, that's it. I'm talking about some ladies who are not sexually active with your spouse. So talking about sexually active, is it even right for you to be sexual with your spouse before you actually get married? What does that with you?
Is it like starting?
Yeah, like that with you.
What is the definition of right and wrong? What perspective are you looking at it from?
Like having sex with your spouse before you get married.
Is it right?
Yes.
Is the question you're
Yes.
You're asking me if
Yes,
I'm
but that is part of the fear that most ladies are having by not living with their spouse.
Oh, that's what.
Yes.
I need to meet these ladies because I've already have had sex with a lady before.
Do you think all ladies are actually interested in that? No.
In sex?
Yes.
Are they interested or are they interested? Are you saying most ladies are
If
not
they
interested
want
in
it
sex?
before actually getting married.
Oh, you think they are pressured into it?
I don't think not all ladies would like
No,
to have sex
okay,
with their spouse.
I
before
think
getting
that's a
married.
there are very few in this world now. I think sexuality has become.
Where do you get? Actually, there are few.
Yeah, there are few.
Mm.
You know the funny thing. What I've learned is that ladies will come together and have a conversation and sound like what you're talking about right now. You and your friends will sit down like, no, I haven't said before marriage. Her boyfriend goes, honey, I'm wearing the. Are you coming home now? And there's a lot of pretense when it comes to sex, because we are very African in our ways. We have refused to talk about it. Because my father never had the sex talk. Okay, he did. We're a very awkward one. But most parents don't have the sex talk with their kids. We made it so spiritual. You just yes or no, just you are going to hell. Didn't you steal meat from the pot? Until you sin, sin is sin. So I think we should be very open-minded about the idea of sex. It's very, very important, and it's a personal choice between you and your spouse. But nobody should feel pressured. It doesn't make or my relationship.
Okay.
If you want to have sex with your partner before marriage, please, if both of you are 100% about it.
Would you have this discuss with your daughter and say,
I will.
and say she can do that?
She can. Yes, I will tell her. Please, just understand what you are doing. I am not one of. So my dad and my parents are clergy people. My dad is a reverend. My mom is a pastor. But they have trained me in a way. They made me understand that the decisions are mine. The knowledge would be given to me. Then off that, what they have learned, I can make an informed decision. Like a lot of people were surprised that they let me go for Big Brother. And even when it came up, I was like, so I want to apply for this. And that my dad was like, so you want to go there and having sex and kissing? I said, is that what you think they do there? He said, that's what happens a lot. I said, is that who you think I am? He said, no. I said, then you don't have a problem.
I see. So we need to imbibe this into.
You need to be open. We should be open about the idea of sex. We should be open about the conversation. I've had the conversation with my younger brother just because I know my dad would probably not have it with him. I had it a long time ago. I wanted to know how many girls he has kissed. He was telling me I was scared. But he now has a better understanding of what it is he's doing. And we all need to do it. Because half the time a lot of people are just doing it out of curiosity. Young kids. We just want to know what it is. So we have that conversation, make them understand what it is.
Okay, now let's just round up this. From a guy's perspective, when two people in a relationship, when they eventually meet, do you think it dwindles the love amongst them? Because we've had stories of I've had sex with her, so I don't like her again. I've seen what I need to see, I don't like her again. Why do you guys have such conversations? What does it determine the kind of girl they are doing it with, or is it just the sex thing?
I mean, most of the time, when guys want to, I just feel it still depends on the individual, the guy in particular. Sometimes the guy, at first glance, he knows what he wants with the girl.
Thank you.
At first glance. Sometimes, at first glance, you think you know. Eventually, you just see yourself trapped. Like, your friends will not ask you, boy, no be your type it is. You say, Baba, me say, no. Do you understand? Something just happens. In fact, we all cannot really define and say this is what relationship love is about. A lot of people with different stories. Some people, their relationship came from saving a just common thief. A girl just sees a thief that's running around. Say, okay, come and say. And before you know, that thief and that girl, they are married. A lot of us can't really say this how it is, but the way it works for you, fine. If it doesn't work for you, move ahead.
All right.
So let me just add.
Okay.
So what you asked, this thing of he just has sex with her, then he leaves her. Would you rather he have sex with her after the marriage, then leaves her? Because that will still happen. If he was never interested deeply, he's never interested deeply.
And sometimes I see people say you have to have sex with your partner so that you know if your partner is really the active one. But eventually, if it's not
those
active,
are just excuses.
it still breaks.
Those are just excuses for wanting to do that.
A lot of marriages are broken out of the man not being active.
Yeah, and I know that costs a lot of marriage. I was planning to say that instead of money, because I know, in fact, that is a greater factor. Yes, that's a greater factor. We don't talk about these things. That's why we don't talk about these things.
Why? What to hell if you talk about it? In a lot of people's opinion.
Eventually, when you want to explain to somebody, you want to tell them that is the reason. You rather just keep it to yourself. I think we need to be more open on.
We need to be open about sex. It's very important, even to husband and wife. You will hear some. I met. I know someone who did not know that ladies come.
Wow.
An adult. I think that says a lot. I think I will end there.
Yeah,
we need to have a conversation about this.
Yeah, in conclusion, just be open about cases like stuff like this and just have a conversation. Yeah. All right, let's go to our games. So that's the scrambled letter. I know that you guys are intelligent and all, but please don't act like you've been racking your brain.
I was about to say something else, but
Okay, I'm sure you don't know it.
I'm sure you.
You do not.
I believe you hope we don't know it.
You don't. That's not the word, though.
I am sure. There must be a deeper word than that.
Okay, that's URECULT. What word is that?
Uricot.
That's the word he just answered it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, what word is that?
I'm trying to describe.
You guys are not
what
doing
you
it.
know.
Okay, it's okay. The definition is the totality of people's way of life.
Man, let's not be, before it looks like that. I told you it's cultural. Culture is the word.
All right, culture. Yeah, culture.
That's how we do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let us get words from that. It could be 2-letter words. It could be 3-letter words. It could be 4-letter words.
There's cult.
Yes, cult.
There's cut.
Yes, that's CT. Yeah, that.
There's let.
Okay. What is that?
LET.
Okay. All right.
There is.
What word again?
I don't know how to pronounce that word. Cruet. CRUET.
Okay. CRU.
Yeah.
ET.
Yeah.
CRUET.
That has to be. That's a word. Cruet.
Oh, is it-
I can't pronounce it, but that's
Definitely not
definitely what I
Okay,
can see it
CRU?
in my head.
CRU.
ET. I can see it in my head.
Yeah.
Great.
Wow. I think I need to
There
learn.
is true.
True.
TRU.
Yeah.
Wow, I
that's
didn't see
true.
that.
I didn't even see that. Are the words finished?
No, they are not.
Okay.
Mostly French.
Funny enough, there are lots of words in this
There are lots
but
of
we
words
don't
on
really
there.
know.
You know, we don't use them now.
We don't
Yes,
really
now.
use them.
We
I was
don't,
saying
we are
it.
Nigerians, we don't use big words.
You know, I was saying that I
Let's
saw
come and come and do
AKIN in dictionary. Like, what's the one in doing in dictionary? It's actually
Eh.
akin, similar. I don't
Similar.
know
Yeah, I
that
learned that here too. I think.
So there are lots of words dictionary we don't
Lots
really
of
know about.
words.
Okay,
You should
okay.
read.
All right. A round of applause.
That's how we do.
So, our celebrity trivia. This is like a whole trending news, but I just want to ask you, since D is here. T-Boss, when she posted that child on social media, and when she made an outburst, was crying. So I'm going to start with you again.
Of course, you know.
you.
The Bible always says I'll be first.
So you live in that space. Trolls,
space?
yeah, celebrity and
Who's a
trolls.
celebrity?
Okay,
I'm
sorry,
popular then.
sorry,
I'm a celebrity.
sorry.
I'm growing to that celebrity status.
All right, I love that, but me, I'll call you a celebrity.
Okay.
You should already say celebrity.
All right, so how do you handle such? Definitely you must have gotten trolled by people.
A lot of trolls.
A lot of
I have my
trolls.
fair share of haters.
So, what would you say about what T-Boss did? Do you think it was necessary? A outburst?
I think it was necessary for her.
Okay.
I think, in my opinion, I think he found closure. I think she felt better after releasing that. You know, crying is very important for anybody. So I think after she did that, she must have felt relief in her heart. So I think for her personally, it was necessary. But in the long run, I do not think it's necessary. It would not have an effect on the trolls. These people are not trolling you because they want you to be better. That's when you respond to a person. When the person criticizes you, if it's constructive in the sense that the person wants you to be better, that's when you should respond. But when the person is bringing you down all for hate, responding doesn't change anything. It's not what you've done wrong. It's the fact that they hate you, and it's not changing. So your response doesn't change it. So my take on cyber bullies, on people who say things on social media, because I get it a lot, is I do not respond. Trust me, it's hard. You do not even want to know, because you know the truth is these people think they are wicked and smart. Trust me, there are some of us that are, I would, for lack of a better word, demonic in our responses. I would be very mean. I could be brutally mean. I would say things that would make you really hate yourself. But I'm becoming you,
Okay.
and that's just nasty.
So when you see such comments, what do you and I know you don't react to it.
I make a joke
Do you,
out of it.
you make a joke to yourself?
I always, me and my girlfriend talk about it. My sister is my,
So it doesn't even
my
get
elder sister.
anywhere.
It does. It hurts.
Okay.
It hurts a lot.
Yeah.
It hurts sometimes. I'm like, why though?
You just sit down and write this kind
But
of
then
things.
you need to find self-control. Giving them, first off, you respond to that person and blow. Mr. Blow will take it off.
Yeah.
So you have won 2-0. In my opinion, you stroked me, I was hurt, and I still gave you relevance of it. So I'd rather just let you. And that silence is even more painful. When a mumu is talking and you don't respond, they talk and walk away. It's hard.
Okay.
Very hard, but walk away. Try.
Alright, so what's your take on keypad warrior? What are keypad warriors?
Okay.
Are you a keypad warrior?
Nabi, do you have a troll account?
I didn't even have one. But, I mean, I've once had the same experience. I put in for one dance competition that was hosted by Pulse Energy. Okay. I intentionally used a friend's room. It's a one room. The room was tattered, but I did my dance in the middle. I didn't wear any shirt. And I did to this Alan Romere the soundtrack for figurine. That was what I used. Oh my god. People didn't even look at my dance. It was the setting of the room. Baba, this one where they dance, you think say na traditional dance they do for you. You think say na I was getting these throws and I was laughing at it. Probably because I'm already in that field of theatre arts, performing artist. But sometimes you just want to wonder, like, how do people just sit down and write things like this?
Do you think it's a sign of depression or on their part, or it's just their they just love doing that?
I think they just don't do that because I've never been in their position, so I don't even know how they are thinking.
In my opinion, they are not happy with their own life, so they are looking for ways to bring other people down to their level.
Another thing.
Like you said, that's demonic actually.
It really is. It's very saddening to think that human beings. There's this particular lady. I was this close to responding to her. I actually typed. And because I want to be mean, I typed the whole a bit and then I cleared it. She used her own account first off, which is the dumbest thing you would do to troll somebody. And then she's a mother with kids, saying such hurtful things to another person's kid. And I was like, I typed and I'm like, you're just heaping curses on yourself and your kids. Imagine anyone treating your child like this for reasons beyond, you do not even know me, but you think you have these opinions. You are putting yourself in a very bad light. And I didn't honestly respond that day, not because of her but because of her kids. Because if I had responded, a blog will pick it up. The kids, the children's faces will be up there because they will go into their page. And then because I referred to the fact that she's a mother, it will have escalated beyond just her family picture and everything. So I had to think beyond that. And I'm like, that's just sad. Why would you do that? Why would you talk like that? A lot of people are depressed in this country. Nigerians are hateful. All of us plus me, we are hateful. We don't like to see the progress of others. So when you see plenty white, you see that black spot at that corner is what someone wants to shine on.
Imagine. And most of the time, if you check these people, most of them just 2 followers. Most of them just open
troll accounts. Like going that length.
I can bet you when they see me in public, like, oh my god, I'm such a fan. I love you so much.
So sad. That is more depressing to
I think of recent Timini posted something of like that. Someone trolled him and then she was in his DMs saying all the best kind of things.
Can you imagine that?
You honestly do not need to pay attention to them. Half the time they're just looking for clout.
Alright. Fair enough. And with that, we come to the end of this episode. But I will not let you leave without asking a question about Big Brother. I know you are tired of hearing Big Brother. I'm going to ask you. So, just in conclusion, do you have any regrets since leaving Big Brother?
Since leaving Big Brother?
Yeah.
I will not say I have any regrets. I would just say I wish I was mentally more prepared for what I went into. I'm living in clouds right now. Like, I'm having the best time of my life, and there's no real regret in all honesty. I just, it's very hard to completely satisfy a human being. I'm just looking at the other sides, but all in all, it's been amazing.
Is it true that Tacha has a crush on you?
Why would she have a crush on me? Tacha is my guy. She's my guy.
I wanted to put you off guard. That's how I don't have that question directly. So you're prepared for me, right?
I'm too calm to be put off guard.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you guys
Thank you for
for
having us.
gracing this episode on
Yeah,
Conversations
shit.
with Jumie. I'm sure you guys had a lovely time listening to us, and I'm sure you're able to learn one or two things
Hopefully.
from. And we're very, very blunt in this episode. I like that.
Yes.
Blunt and talk about it. Okay, all right. Till we come your way again next week, I remain Jumoke Adioti Aina. Thank you for watching.